So the Chit out. Now Chit out means cutting hand, and it's the first move. It's not, I mean, measuring out your stance is the first, but I mean it's the first movement of the arms in the Chun form. It's this downward movement here, Chit out or cutting hand. Now the Chit out has many uses. However, from the form, the problem that it solves is any strike that's coming up from underneath, like a strike to the body, or even a straight strike coming down towards the body as well, has this downward formation. However, let's not limit the Chits out to downward movements, because I personally prefer it as an upward movement, coming up through to the throat, cutting through this way, bang to the throat or neck there. I think it's quite a useful one. Also, you can also use it for eye strikes as well, the Chits out. So it solves the problem of incoming strikes on the underneath angle when you use it from the form's actual movement. But it can also be used, like if Carlson's throwing strikes through here, it can also be used as a blocking movement straight through. It can be used as a strike to the throat. It can be used to the eyes. It can be used in concert with other movements. So if Carlson's throwing a strike up towards my belly here, so to my belly, so it kicks me in the nuts instead. So if he's throwing a strike up towards my belly here, you can use the Chits out in concert with other strikes. You can use it with other striking moves as well. So once again, I used here, so Chits out and striking at the same time. So that's the movement we're going to be looking at. Things to think about. So the pointers that you have in your mind are that you want to make sure, because generally speaking, you're going to come from stance and guard. You're not going to be standing like this, like you are in the form. Because remember, the form is about training the state into the different movements, but that's a different lesson entirely. If you want to go deeper into that, check out the state and the form training courses in the classroom section. Now, when practicing the Chits out from the guard, you want to make sure that, once again, you keep the wrist and hand on the center. So it stays in front of your center as you drive down, and then the elbow joint and the shoulder joint operate at the same time. So you'll see how my elbow and shoulder operate simultaneously, which helps me to keep my wrist on center. Whereas if I were to do shoulder then elbow, you'll see I'm actually opening my center up. So they work together. Simple as that. You make contact with the blade of the hand and forearm depending on where you make contact with the opponent. Yeah. So that's the theory on the Chits out, like the ideas behind it. Now, if you want to go into the actual movement of the structure, so we did that lesson on structure recently, just before. The structure moves with rotation and expansion of joints. So this rotates and this hinges. So this joint rotates and this joint hinges to bring the wrist to the center there. Rotation is a good way to think about your structure, which is probably a good thing to think about when you start out, but it's not the be all and end all, because your joints will rotate when you move anyway. So coming back to it, with the Chits out, the wrist stays in the center, the hand drops down to face the floor, elbow and shoulder joint turn to bring the hand in front. Simple as that. So this is the first movement. Okay, we'll have a practice with this in the next video.